Hey y'all, welcome back to Doozy Talks with Susie, where we keep it real about fitness, nutrition, and mindset, and how to live in sync with your body and your purpose. Let me ask you something. Have you ever eaten rice or fruit and then bloated up like a balloon? Or had a stomach cramp after a clean meal, but had no idea what caused it? Have carbs ever made you feel foggy, heavy, or like your body is holding on to water? I used to think I was carb intolerant, but the truth is it wasn't the carbohydrates, it was the timing. And today I'm breaking down why certain carbs used to wreck my digestion and why now, when I eat them the right way, I feel energized, lean, and clear. So one morning, I made a simple meal: ground beef, pasture-raised eggs, half a potato, whole, clean, real food, nothing processed. Even the ground beef was grass-fed, trying to eat super clean on that one, right? But within 30 minutes, I felt bloated, my stomach felt tight and uncomfortable, my brain felt foggy, and I felt off for the rest of the morning. And that wasn't, seriously, this isn't the first time it ever happened either. And it kept happening, even when I was eating the right foods. Foods that should have made me feel energized were making me feel sluggish and puffy. And what's crazy, if I ate that same kind of meal, the ground beef, eggs, even with a little potato, after strength training, I felt great. Nothing, no bloating, no cramping, no brain fog. Recovery, I felt calm, even energized. And I'm going, what is going on here? And that's when I started doing research, looking into it. How does this work? Explain this to me. And I started learning. It wasn't just about the food. It was about the timing. So if you've ever eaten clean, but felt worse, or question if your body is just sensitive to everything, I want you to know I get it. It's frustrating, but it's also figure-outable. And today, I'll show you how. So here's the science behind it. After a workout, especially strength training, your muscles become open gates. They're hungry. They're primed to absorb the glucose from carbs and store it as glycogen for recovery, not fat. This is called the post-exercise insulin sensitivity. And it's when carbs are most helpful and not harmful. But if you eat carbs outside that window, especially when you've been sitting, you're stressed, or fasting for hours, your body might not know what to do with the sugar. It stays in your bloodstream longer, insulin rises, inflammation creeps in, and boom, you get the bloat, the brain fog, the fatigue. Think of it like this. Post-lift, you're feeding a hungry muscle. Mid-morning at your desk, you're flooding a full tank. And that's basically what I had been doing. And once I tested my DNA, there was even more that made sense. So I have looked at my DNA. I study DNA because it's just the coolest thing ever to learn about. To me, your DNA is like the owner's manual for how your body functions. And so when you look at it, you can see, oh, my body needs this. My body can't handle that. My body needs help over here. This may have a malfunction. I need to work on that. I may have to exercise harder than Joe down the street. I may have to do more cardio than Kim. I may have to just one thing after another. Just this is how your body works. And it's like an owner's manual. So cool. So I'm over here looking at my genes. I have a gene variant in my CBS gene, or a gene mutation. Both terms are used interchangeably, but I have a gene variant. And this variant makes me extra sensitive to sulfur metabolism. That means bloating, cramps, and digestive tension can happen faster, especially when inflammation is high and I'm eating sulfur-rich foods. Then I have my SLC25A13 gene, and it's a mitochondrial gene that slows carb to energy conversion. So when I eat carbs without a purpose, they just sit there. They don't energize me, they overwhelm me because they're not doing anything. And my body's like, what are we doing here? Then I have another gene, the IRS1 and the HNF1A. These affect insulin response. So if I eat carbs without movement, my blood sugar spikes higher and crashes faster. And that roller coaster equals a bloat, fatigue, cravings, mood swings. Then I have my PON1 and MTHFR genes. These also have gene mutations, and these affect how well I detox and methylate. And when detox pathways are slowed down, even clean foods can trigger inflammation. So once I understood those pieces, I realized I wasn't crazy. My body was just different. So you already have the way, in general, this is how the body functions. And then you add into that my gene mutations that I deal with, and I've kind of been just messing up what my body needs. So here's what I did though. Actually, what I didn't do is I didn't go zero carb and be like, oh, it's all the carbohydrates. I did not go zero carb. Your body still needs energy. I just got smarter with when and how I used them. So this is what my daily structure looks like now. In the morning, because I don't do strength training in the morning, it's all protein and fats. Coffee with a little collagen, a little bit of A2 milk and tallow or steak and bone broth. No carbs equals stable energy. No bloat, calm focus. I hear you. Cow's milk does have carbs, but I use such a small amount. It's only about 4 grams of carbohydrate, and that's not going to affect blood sugar levels. That's so small, your body's just going to be moving on. And then before my workouts, maybe I'll eat a tiny amount, a few blueberries or a couple bites of vegetables if I feel I need the fuel. Usually I'm fine. And then post lift, so after I do my strength training, which happens in the afternoon, this is my main carb window because it gives me the ability to lift heavy and recover well. And I'll eat vegetables, berries, maybe half a potato or some rice. And this is when my body actually uses the carbs to build muscle and restore the glycogen stores. Now, I'm going to take a little moment off of all of that to say, I do have a wheat sensitivity. So that's one, because somebody would maybe like, well, why don't you eat a little bit of toast or pancakes or something? No, if you have a wheat sensitivity, that might be okay post-lift because your body's using the carbs, but you don't want to eat food you're actually allergic to because that causes a whole other list of issues that can go in a whole other video. So then in the evening time, after I've done my post-workout, my post-strength train meal, and then in the evening, I drop the carbs a little more. I can still eat a little bit, but this helps reduce inflammation and it improves my sleep quality. So it will be just a small amount, not more than 15 grams of carbohydrate before bed. And I take it with something that's going to help stabilize. So maybe some cinnamon. Maybe I'll eat it with a little protein and fat so that my blood sugar stays stabilized and I'm not dealing with blood sugar dropping in the middle of the night because then I'm up at 2 a.m. and I don't know why until I check my blood sugar. So that's how I manage it. And here's a simple tip. Never eat carbs alone. Always pair them with protein or fat to slow the glucose spike. Add cinnamon to your coffee or your carbs. It supports the blood sugar. And if you can, go for a little walk after meals. It helps pull glucose into your muscles because you're exercising and moving around. And moving on. So all of that aside, moving on to the next thing. Once I made these shifts, the results were crazy clear. My bloating stopped almost overnight. I had energy through the day without caffeine crashes. My menstrual cycle was regulated. I slept deeper. And most surprisingly, I didn't crave sugar anymore. I don't really need it. Sometimes I want an ice cream, but it's not like it used to be. And when I was eating a lot more carbs, I wanted more carbs, not necessarily just sugary processed foods. I just wanted to eat a lot of carbohydrates. And it's not like that anymore. I'm almost like, I don't even care to. I try to eat a potato and I'm just like, whatever. Try to eat some beans or some rice. I'm just like, I can eat a few bites and then I'm good. So even, get this, my face looked less puffy. My stomach started feeling more flat and my mood was more calm. And I realized this isn't about discipline, it's about alignment. I thought I just lacked discipline and that's what was going on with me. I was just eating food that my body wasn't able to work with. So with your biology, with your nervous system, with your genetics, you got to find what works for you. Get in line with that, and then you'll find that everything just levels out by itself. Here are some red flags to look for yourself. Just ask yourself these questions, see if maybe you need to check in on this. You bloat after you eat clean meals. You feel sleepy or foggy after eating. Some people talk about it like a food coma. You go into a food coma. You get cramps after eating fruit, rice, or oats. You crave sugar 1 to 2 hours after a meal, or you feel leanest after workouts but puffiest in the morning or at night. If you said yes to any of those, your carb timing might be the issue, not your willpower. It's not always willpower, not that you need to do another 30 minutes on the treadmill. It may just be this is what your carbs are doing. I will be honest with you guys about this. One time I spent the weekend, I wasn't eating clean that weekend. I was eating mostly clean eating, but it was a lot of carbs in that. So I would be eating beans and rice and what else was there? Probably some potatoes. I still ate some protein, but by the end of the weekend, I weighed myself Monday morning and I'm like, I didn't overeat. I'm still eating a serving of each of these, keeping on track. And I'm like, why? I had put on weight. And I'm going, what happened? Well, I stopped eating those foods and I started eating mostly protein and fats again. And all of a sudden, within 2 days, I had dropped all that weight back off again. I'm going, dude, that's water weight that was causing me that was happening because of the food I was eating. So that's something else to keep in mind. Final takeaway. I used to beat myself up for how my body responded to food. But when I learned how to eat in sync with my body and not against it, everything changed. Carbs aren't the enemy, and neither are you. It's just about learning your body's rhythm, reading the signals, and responding with wisdom instead of judgment. You're not broken. You just haven't had the full picture yet. If this helped you today, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who feels stuck with food or fitness. And remember, you are fashioned by grace and set apart for a reason. Keep going, and I'll see you soon.